So here's the deal, guys. If you do need to make a spacing change or something, like I'm at Ace Hardware, right? Getting a little spacer for a longer bolt. This is custom. This is what we're doing, is custom stuff. So now, providing that we take the other side apart and it's exactly the same, all I needed was a washer right here, so it's exactly the same on both sides. Wonder how Slick and Jason are doing. Now we know we have the exact same amount of spacers on both sides. So as you guys know, I treat every job like a new job. Let's use engines, for example. If I built 10 engines, not all 10 would run exactly the same because they're built by humans with different tolerances. Some are happy, some are not. So that goes with everything, right? Like, I just look at everything like it's unique, because if you want things to be perfect, you can't assume that, oh, it's the same parts, so it's gonna be exactly the same as the last job. So you got a tolerance here, a tolerance there, a tolerance everywhere, and then that could add up to be tight, it could add up to be loose, and the tolerances of the machine that was built on the day that it was built and everything. So if you really want to get down to it, right on the berries. You're trying to adjust it, right? And like, no matter what, you can't move it, you can't move it, you loosen it, you can't move it, you loosen it, you can't move it, and then it just falls out. What didn't I do that I said I was gonna do? I wanna check those upper bolts, right? On the shocks. Oh, it's a good thing we checked them.
Were they just straight up loose?
They were just on there, and that's about it.
What's the difference in between blue one and red one?
Yep, so blue is a medium strength and red is more of a permanent strength. A lot of it has to do with the size of the fastener that you're using. So this is what we refer to as a critical fastener. So number one, we don't ever want it to come out for any reason other than if we want it to, and it's a big enough fastener that I know that it'll come out. But if I was to use red on this bolt, you'd probably have to drill it out. It lubricates the threads so you get a proper torque, and then it glues it in place once you're there. Typically on these performance swing arms and bagger builds, we're dealing with 2-into-1 exhaust that's short so you can jack it up. Robert has dual exhaust on here, and we're not gonna be able to use the wheel stands with that. I fully expect to run into a couple little clearance issues, but we'll see how it goes. Down there, you can see there's not enough room from here to here, right? So the nut hits here, this is close here, right? This is close here. So we have things hitting over here, the nut. If we jack it up where the exhaust will top out, boom, right? So there's a couple things that we can do here. So we roll the exhaust like this to give more clearance in there, or we put a spacer right here to bring it down, or we change the way the shock mount, more clearance. So I'm gonna need to get a couple spacers before this is done. I probably could get away with half of that spacer. I'm gonna have to go find those spacers tonight because our spacer selection is getting low. I don't want to take you to the store to get spacers because I don't want people to think it's this hard to put together. I don't do anything else except motorcycle and work. So here's the deal, guys. If you do need to make like a spacing change or something, like I'm at Ace Hardware, right? Getting a little spacer for a longer bolt. This is custom. This is what we're doing, is custom stuff. You don't always need to do this, but we have aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket shocks, aftermarket swing arm, aftermarket this, that, and the other thing, right? Sometimes you got to make it fit. No rewards. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Do you know when you get angry and upset when you lose or something, or you're frustrated? That emotion, that's your passion. And when you get angry and release that into the world because you're upset, you're giving it away for free. That energy, that passion, you're upset, you're frustrated. You take that, you bottle it up, and you push it down deep. You don't get rid of it, you don't throw it away for free. You take that and you hold on to it until you need it the next time, right? And that's your fire, that's your burn for the next time you need to dig deep. And then you have that on reserve, right? And then you use it. All right, we're gonna leave the keys in there and we got our spacers. So I'm using the shorter of the two spacers here. I'm not using Loctite on this because it's exhaust. So if you put Loctite on the exhaust, the heat of the exhaust dissipates the Loctite, right? So it kind of doesn't make sense. So I use lock washers. So you might be saying, well, Peter, you had to run around and figure out spacers for this. And here's the thing. This is the Harley Davidson motorcycle world. There's all kinds of custom parts, you name it. There's more exhaust systems than Carter has peanuts, more sizes than you can shake a stick at, more configurations than you can imagine. And then you take that and apply it to every part on the bike. So when we sell a part, we sell it as if it's going on a stock bike with all stock components. And that's all we can do as a constant. But the customer already had aftermarket exhaust on here before we did the swing arm and the other stuff, right? When you're working with a Harley, you have to understand that you're probably gonna be working with multiple different custom components and you have to do a few things to make it all work. Good to have a list going, right? When you start getting down to the end. You know what? I'm so good, I'm even 2 steps ahead of myself. I want to get this brake line routing proper and like snugged in. Of course, running the brake lines and the cables, that if I put this thing on the ground, if I did it on the ground and jack the front up so I could do the fall away, then that would allow me. There's just going to be a certain stinking way that this goes, George, and it's going to be exactly opposite of how I have it currently set up. Is trying to make everything perfect a blessing or a curse? Well, I can tell you both angles of it. So basically, I'm gonna pull these out, and the main reason I'm doing this, I'm gonna unhook it from the ABS module, and the line has a natural place how it wants to, or a way that it wants to lay in there. Now that I have that sitting the way I want it to, just remove it from the module here, and then I can twist the line and let it relax into place. So I'm sitting here with a file, opening this up so the brake lines fit in there perfectly. Do you have to do this? No. Do you even need to use this clip? Probably not. Am I weird and OCD? Absolutely. Oh, yeah, baby, that's why I do it. There we go. Look at that. See there, so like that line just had this weird kink or twist to it. So I just unhooked it, and you can kind of manipulate these fittings on the end, and just a little bit of manipulation just makes the big difference in how it kind of looks. All right, guys, so there you have it. So it's Tuesday, and I got a lot more work done on this 25 Road Glide. I got the swing arm installed today, finished figuring out the brake lines the way I want them to go. Got a whole bunch of things tightened down, snugged down, like the fit and finish stuff, making it look good. And I think we'll just pick up tomorrow and keep cranking on it. We have to do a dress-up kit, 12-point fasteners, and a couple little things, bleed brakes, and I have a list on the board. But that is it for the day. We'll be back at it tomorrow, finishing up this beautiful 25 Harley Davidson Road Glide. So catch us on the next one.